The square-off between the president and Republicans today wasn't exactly a meeting of the minds, but the nasty tone that has overwhelmed the political discourse in Washington did seem, at times, to take a back seat in Baltimore. And we're going to play a whole lot more of the event for you throughout this hour so that you can hear it for yourself. But first, Indiana Congressman Mike Pence is the number 3 man in the House Republican leadership. Welcome to you, Congressman. As we just heard right there before the break, you did get into it a little bit today with the president over whether Republicans really are offering specific solutions. You say you are, that Democrats are ignoring them. Did you hear from him a kind of willingness to work with you on some of your ideas?
Well, we certainly heard that, but frankly, Campbell, we've heard that from this president for some time. I think what was most welcome was that I think for the first time with a national audience, House Republicans were able to put to rest the suggestion that we're the party of no ideas. I mean, that blue book that the president was handed was really a compilation of all the bills that Republicans offered during the last 12 months, everything from our economic stimulus bill to our detailed budget to our energy independence bill to our health care bill that focuses on lowering the cost of health insurance. And, you know, the president repeatedly acknowledged that, in fact, Republicans have been offering positive, substantive alternatives, and you know, that represents, I think, significant progress in this administration and, frankly, in Washington Democrats' posture over the last year.
But would he, true, fair points made there, but I think what he was saying a lot of was that the rhetoric is what's getting in the way in large part. You know, the president saying Republicans can't say that they're willing to work with him and then go out and say that the plans he's introducing are Bolshevik and that he's trying to destroy America. Do you think he has a point there?
Well, I've never heard a Republican refer to the government takeover of health care as Bolshevik. I don't know where the president got that.
I think you know what he means. I think it's come pretty close to that at times when there's certainly been references to communism.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about communism, Campbell. I think there's a real concern that what was moving through the House and the Senate, a concern among the American people and certainly among House Republicans, that this really did represent a government takeover of health care that would ultimately put us on a pathway toward single-payer, socialized medicine. These are fundamental differences of philosophy, but really, I want to say again, I think the real progress here was that for the last year, and I think PolitiFact just confirmed this online, that for the last year, the administration and Democrats on Capitol Hill have been saying that Republicans have not offered alternatives. We've not offered any substantive ideas to the debate. And as we were able to demonstrate today, and the president conceded today, folks can go to GOP.gov and read up the summaries. Republicans have been offering ideas built on the principles of limited government and free market economics. And maybe, just maybe, that's the starting point for a much more honest debate and an honest exchange in the Congress.
Again, and I can concede that point. You definitely, a chance to air your ideas, to get them out there is certainly crucial. But I just want to get back to what I was saying before about the rhetoric. And I'll give you an example of what the president was talking about. You told the president today he's pursuing policies that nobody's promoted since Jimmy Carter. And you're talking about his idea of a $5,000 tax cut on small businesses to hire new workers. That sounds like an idea that could be reasonably debated by both sides. You may disagree with him philosophically, as you say, but to jump into it and sort of make these comparisons to Jimmy Carter, the comparisons to socialism, without getting into the specifics of what the philosophical differences are, can be damaging to having a real debate. Is that a fair point?
Yeah, I think in some cases it's a fair point, but with regard to the tax credit the president unveiled, the hiring tax credit the president unveiled in Baltimore here today, Campbell, the last time the government did that was when President Jimmy Carter did it, and it was in place for a couple of years. It was an abject failure. It had all kinds of perverse incentives. It is reported there were businesses that actually fired people so that they could hire them back and get the tax credit. Other businesses put off hiring to wait till the tax credit took effect. It's one of the failed economic policies of the Carter administration. I did cite another Democrat president, though, when I asked the president would he be willing consider or entertain an across-the-board tax cut like President John F. Kennedy passed in the 1960s and President Reagan passed in the 1980s. And we had a lively exchange about that early on, but I didn't mean to Jimmy Carter reference as a pejorative. I meant it as a historical reference point. And I don't think we need the economic policies of the malaise era of the Carter administration during the worst recession in 25 years.
Do you think anything truly, in terms of, I know what you said, you were able to get your ideas out on the table, but do you think anything comes of this in terms of the real hard work, I guess, that has to be done by both sides? On Monday, does anything happen, or was this just sort of a nice kumbaya moment that everybody looks back on?
Well, if you look at some of these clips, there wasn't a lot of kumbaya in the room. This was pretty serious, pretty substantive, albeit a respectful environment between House Republicans and the president. But, I think you ask, is this going to change anything? I think that really is up to the president and, frankly, up to the Democrats in Congress.
But not at all up to Republicans? That's what, this is what I'm trying to get at. It's that the president took a lot of responsibility for mistakes on his side. But I've yet to hear you guys take any responsibility, certainly in what you've just said, for playing some of the same games. Don't you think there has to be some give and take from both sides?
Well, no, wait a minute, Campbell. What we've been doing is offering substantive alternatives built on conservative principles, and what the administration and Democrats in Congress have done is lock the door, reflexively say no, and then say we have no ideas.
So you haven't engaged in politics at all? You have not engaged in politics at all? You've done nothing but offer substantive alternative ideas? Come on.
Campbell, I really do believe, now, to say people in Washington don't do politics is, I don't know what the better analogy is. Right. But on this point, Republicans have in good faith offered economic stimulus. We've offered a health care reform bill, an energy bill. We've offered a substantive budget that puts our fiscal house in order. And again, Democrats in this administration for the last year have not only said no to every Republican idea, but they said we have no ideas. Now, the fact that the titular head of the Democratic Party and the President of the United States has acknowledged repeatedly today that Republicans have been offering substantive alternatives on all these issues, maybe, just maybe, their reflexive no will relent and we can have some discussions and debates and pursue policies in the best interests of the American people.
All right, Congressman. Well, I think we all hope so. We'd sure like to see it happen. Appreciate it. Congressman Mike Pence joining us tonight.